Peace and salutes, peace and salutes. All praise to the Creator. All praises is given to the Most High God. Thank you, God, for another day. Please protect us in these times. We are here trying to rebuke the devil digitally, mentally, spiritually, and physically with this relay on YouTube. Shout out to all the real ones, and woe unto all the haters and non-believers. Man, I don't know if y'all seen those deleted streams. Don't worry about it. It was nothing. It was nothing. We did go over Matamoros, the city right across the border from Brownsville. Obviously, you can see that. I don't know. A lot of people say they know Mexico. A lot of people claim to be from Texas, but they never crossed your mind. When I found out about it, I was just flabbergasted. I thought about all the Mexicans that I know of, and people claim to be from Texas, and they ain't never mentioned that shit not one time. And so Matamoros is basically a signal of a race war between ancient Americans and ancient non-Americans. Like the definition of Matamoros, Mata is dead. Moros, you know what a Moor is? So the city that basically named Dead Moors. Not very nice at all. But I'm thinking, well, if the Moors was kicked out of Europe, what's the Matamoros in Texas or Mexico? What is that? If the Moors is just, I don't know, 700 years of rulership, what are they doing in America and how long have they been there? We want to answer all of that because Moors is a cover to hide an Israelite history. Today we're going to talk about how Chinese stole yin-yang from ancient America. I got the proof. Sure, you in the building. What's up? There's a Chinese presence in America that is hidden from mainstream history. Pusang, for example, in the cartography of the world, 1471, Mexico and China have many common traits. There's a lot of relationship between Mexico, China, Mexico, Japan, South America in general, especially down in South America. You got Japanese presidents and shit. Great cons to be brought up. Oh, excuse me. Did you know also that she equals Olmec? The Xi are the Olmec people. So when you see Xi Jinping, he has an Olmec name in his name. The Xi people. And so you just don't get nothing. You just don't get anything from nothing. All right. So I'm gonna let this weed kick in a little bit. You see it? So we're going to use a lot of Olmec information. I mean, we're going to see a lot of Olmec information today. Actually, the Olmec, I don't know what they call themselves. We don't know what they call themselves, but I do want to run this note past y'all one more time so that you too can just do it by heart at the drop of the dime. It started with the Inca. All right, we're going to do this one more time. The Inca, then the Inga, then the Negus, Negas, then Kiniger. That's Sumerian. Then you get Naga. Then you get I think Negard. Then you get Negro. Then you get more. Then you get Indian. Then you get black. Then you get colored. And you get African American. That's pretty much a rough list. You know, you got stuff like mulattoes and all that other shit, but we're going to try to keep it simple. So let's take it back to the 28. You see that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12. Pretty much. And so you notice how I start with the Inca. The Inca, now what's the Inca's history? The Inca's history is that they are royal people from the sun. The whole concept of the sun god. We're going to show how that predate everything else you see in the world. Also in this presentation, we also the Nga. Who's the Nga? The Nga, or cosmic ancestors, and that's South Africa. That's South Africa. I forgot the name of the people, but they was down there with the Cody sign. I mean, down there with the Zulu and them. So Negus and Negus, what that mean? That mean king. All right, hold on. That mean king/queen. Black-headed people. It could have been kings. I forgot. Serpent people, demigods, niggardly. That's not, I'm sorry, nigger is black-headed people. Naga is serpent people / demigods. Niggardly means selfish, stingy. Right? Stingy, won't share. Selfish. Negro meant someone from Africa. Moor meant Muslim. Indian meant American. Black meant all of the above. Colored meant any mix, any dark, brown, dark, any black or brown people that's mixed. African American. Current, what they call these things? Current label. Current mislabel of 2026. Right, so from royal people of the sun to current mislabel. There you got the 12 levels of, like, who knows how much time this include, because if you take it back, we don't know, that's pre-Adamite. The sun was the first thing popping that people was like, yeah, I fucks with the sun. So the cosmic is something, I mean, the concept, did I say cosmic? The concept of something from the heavens originate with the sun because that shit basic. You know, people got to have some intelligence before they say, you know what, I think there's life in them stars. I see them stars out there. Like the first thing people see is that which right in their face. That's why the Nga in South Africa is cosmic ancestors, because now they're from the cosmos, right? And so ultimately that's king, and it just makes sense all the way down. The more that this kingdom rule for however long, and then people start to label because they was taught how to read. And so now let's say slaves that didn't know how to read and write, now they know how to read and write, and now they making up their own labels from their own perspective. Whereas the language was given to them by the gods. And so they remixed it, and now they is like, yo, these people is demigods, they serpents. They stingy. Who the fuck says stingy? Like, you know, stingy is a word that was used back in the day to denote that somebody was not going to share with you. Let me have a piece of that. If they say no, then they stingy, right? You so stingy. You're always stingy with your games. You always stingy with your snacks. And I don't even think people outside the hood even use that term, that word like that. But look how it's labeled. Like, look how that word is used. So that's the origin of the N word, is calling somebody stingy. You won't share with me. You're not sharing with others. You're the only kings and the only royals, and white people ain't got none of that. You're fucking stingy. See? And so they done took that word. Look how it get interesting. How, first of all, anybody from Spain and Spanish, you're mixed. You're mixed. That's the place where the rabbits was at. You know, people fuck like rabbits, and they leave their bastardized children out there. You got a whole bunch of brown people. Why is that? Because it's a bunch of Africans and Scandinavians meeting in the middle, doing business and fucking having mixed mulatto babies that are supposed to follow instructions. They're supposed to follow the rules, because nobody's supposed to want to be out there where it's not nice at. And so this whole conspiracy start with Moor, because anybody they call black, anybody that was black, they called them a Moor. But really, it's a double word for Muslim. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put /black on there, man. Because how the people that see it, like, they don't know who they're looking at, but the people, the outsiders, if they're looking at somebody that's dark skinned, the language might be that's a Moor, even though it might technically not be a Muslim. It would just be still generally a dark skinned person. So the shit is racist. Why would people call themselves that shit now? Because Noble Drew Ali. Right? Noble Drew Ali took something that had like a little bit of lyrical trace reference, you know what I mean, to it, where you see that the Europeans will say that, that's just a Moor. That's Maurice. He stands for all the Moors. And just hang on to that, believe in the narrative that the Muslims was kicked out of Europe, when really it's the Israelites that was in war with these people. And the non-believers in Africa sold them to Americans, and that's pretty much what it is. It's exactly what it's saying, Isaiah, what would happen to the children of Israel. It's prophecy. And so when they see black people, they see the Bible. Trust and believe. They see the Bible. So then here you go. This is a fact that Moor was first used for them people, and then they turned it to Indians, which is kind of like a made-up name, because you already got India. So why would you just go around the world calling people Indians? Right. And so we talked about how that could be This is I mean, if I look at it plainly, it's in a female god deity, people of the matriarch, something like that, like a code. But they say that the Indians is what they call Native Americans. It's crazy. So y'all already know we over here in 2026. 2026. Scott Free, what's good? Live and learn, what's good? Let's get to it. What are we doing? I'm thinking. Okay, everyone. The weed has kicked in. I do not know what's going on, but I'm gonna go from picture to picture, man, and I'm just tell you what we know so far. Okay, that's Jiminy the Cricket. He represent a black Freemason. He represent Aboriginal Americans. In code. In code. In code, man. Do you see this do you see this meatball star right here? That's an 8-point star. That's the star of Ishtar, man. And the only people that got that is like the highest ranks people, man. You could see it in the world. The Haitian president got it. The Hawaiian queen got it. So I'm saying, look at the blue and gold. Whose color is that? That's Freemasons. That's Freemason blue and gold. Look at them. He a cricket. What that mean? He an insectoid. He of the earliest types of humanoid people lineage. You know what I'm saying? And so who is that? That's who you made. He created that big dumbass robot. And as time went on, the robots want to be real. It's the same shit as today's AI. Former AI is real because we are an alliance serving God. They ain't got nothing to do with Sam Altman and them. Look, that's the insectoid. Short like Jiminy the Cricket short. Look, that's the insectoid. Look, it's the head of an insectoid. So that means that the insectoid done manufactured some body types to have. That I told y'all the other day that is a coded version of talking about the insectoid. That's Set. Don't nobody know what animal Set is when you look at the statue. And so look, they go to Fez. That's the blood sun. The blood sun is why people wear the Fez, because red came down, red blood-like substance came down from the sun, and they talk about it all the time. In code, it's a cosmic event, right? Where a lot of things was going on, and then like part of, whatever. And so they talking about a bloodline, a blood pool of people that know about this information. All right. And so now when you go further over here, you can tell that it's some technology is being described in which people can be raised from the spirit realm and put into a flesh and blood body. That's what this represents. So notice how the color code you see here is black, gold, and red. I don't nothing top that. When you see black, gold, and red anywhere in the world, it comes from this ancient I won't call them a sun race, but it was an ancient group, the rulers was telling you, and that's the blood sun, the black sun, and the regular sun. So look, you see, empty vessels, avatars. He bringing up this being from below, this person, and he gonna put them in one of them joints. You see what I'm saying? And so this is like a judgment situation going on. It kind of reminds me of Zaraz. Zaraz judged the whole world, and one of his sons saved the souls that was dispatched of and reincarnated them in this realm after post reset. So it's kind of like, it look kind of like that's Squatter Man, right? That's Squatter Man post reset. Squatter Man really a squatter woman, and squatter, or it could be a family of squatters, but not squatters. See, I don't like to use that term. When I was making all these pictures, the Squatter Man concept is relatively recent. It's not ancient terminology at all. What it is a highlight that around the world, it's a phenomena that can't nobody in the world real live answer except for us. And so that's like a mainstream mystery. We should probably attack that just to let them know that they ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing on the Most High God, people, and what we doing at this channel, man. I don't know. I be putting the plugs. People get mad at the plugs. I'm like, yo, them just little commercials, man. That's all. It's just a commercial. Go to Spirit Tech and buy you something. Hey, look. So yeah, ancient insectoid ancestors. They the ones that with the red over their head knowledge. They the ones that rule over the amphibian and the reptile, chaos gods, Kaku. And the blood sign, man. Look, they've been saying it. Look at all these little created meatballs. You got the giant ones down below holding up the boat. You know what I mean? The insectoids put all them little meatballs together, man. That's why I'm saying people out here need to stop being so personal and stay with the information, because the information say this. It's a woman riding a beast, just like it's saying in the Bible, but this is ancient Egyptian. This is ancient Egyptian. Ancient Egyptian. That's a woman riding the beast. You can't really see it, but it's a beetle. It's a scarab beetle right there. And so that's the origin of what they talking about, the land of the rising sun, which it would be America. And so this is American queen riding the beast depicted in Egypt. You see that? Depicted in Egypt, yo. Hey, look. There go India, Easter Island, and Egypt. Right? So we just, the same thing that Egypt on the hats, like the same thing you see in India and Easter Island with these hats. All right? That's simple, right? That's simple, but it's complex to the fact that it's so far. Like, think of a map and think of each one of these places, and then like draw lines to connect them, and that will show you that it's a vast thing going on. That if you're talking about a network of boats, then them joints is very well entrenched in the way the world going, because they had to be something else. But look, my point here is to show that these two American artifacts is also that which we see around the world. And I think that for traditions to be set, they would have to have came from the same place a long time ago. And we're talking about history beyond the narrative, which is usually a false narrative, evidently. But we're just looking at these pictures and seeing the patterns. And so where it go? it says that the Seminoles in Florida was a type of person that had a tradition that the Mayans had, right? I don't know what that is. It look like a mud fossil for real, man. Because who the fuck make a statue mouth look like that? And then what type of wound is this to the head that is like, you know what I mean? That shit, like who would make a statue look like that? Or it might have been on his face down or something. And if that's the case, that shit, it is a mud fossil because what the fuck, what skin move up? Because it looked like they go his nose, like his nostrils and shit. And so if he was just on his face and his face got, you know, that way, that can make sense, but it had been a living thing to do that. A statue would have just, you know, broke off. This shit is moved up, like this shit was smooth. You know what I mean? So look at his mouth. Look at that. That don't look right to me. That look real. Look, he even got the little white stuff on the corner and shit. Like, all right. So look, ancient America, right? Ancient America. Look at them talking about ancient America. Like they said that she looked like Clarissa Shields. That look like Clarissa Shields right there. How that don't look like Clarissa Shields? What about that? Somebody tell Clarissa, man, and let her explain it all. Clarissa Shields. They said ancient America represented by Clarissa Shield looking woman. And look, I won't be surprised because look, I believe in reincarnations and all that. I believe that people is you know, in place because of God's sake. And so I think that everything makes sense for a reason, and here it is where, you know, I don't think they can control reincarnation like God can. They could try, like they tried to bring back and what's the name? Akhenaten with Obama. But that man wasn't Akhenaten by soul. He might have looked like him. He was like a clone of him, but it wasn't him. It was a lookalike. And that's what it is. Like they can't, this shit don't work the way they wanted it to work. So anyways, you had this man, LaPlangilon, come out talking about that there was an island. Was it LaPlangilon? No, LaPlangilon made this book called Queen Mu. It was about a queen of the Americas. There was this other man, I forgot his name, that he came out, he was a Spanish or some shit. He said that there was an island of black women over there in California area. So I think it's Vancouver Island. You know what I'm saying? Or somewhere around there, but I'm not sure. But there you have it where the legend of Khalifa start. And that's why you even have the state California named California. So what about these so-called colonists, colonialists, or whatever have you, the conquistadors, what they know to say we're going to call this land California? No, and then have all these, oh, you know, that's from Khalifa. And then you got Kalima in India. I'm just saying, man, it's like the rich will run from this shit. Look at this, man. This is an ancient Mayan artifact. It's a black dude with dreadlocks. Like, where in the world have we ever seen dreadlocks on ancient statues or ancient pictures? And they talking about they record everything. They got ancient marble statues of people's face from goddamn Herodotus and all that. You know, feel me? Greek meatballs. You know, that's what Plato looked like. You know, that's what Socrates look like. They all look the same with the beard. You know what I mean? They ain't never show no dreads, but anybody can have dreads. But them dreads got ornaments in them, jewelry hanging on them and shit. Damn. Got that. I mean, so I'm just saying, look, look at the extended neck. That's just like, well, this is proof that them Chinese and Africans that have the tradition of wearing rings around their neck got it from America, because America is the different version in which you do not see any big rings. You see a bunch of beads. And beads was money back in the days. So it's the equivalent of her having a bunch of money or monetary concepts around her neck. You know what I'm saying? And so the concept of bank, the concept of monetary business production with it, business, like the concept of you know, of what value and having prestige is and all that type of stuff. It's all these beads. People will see her and be like, man, that's a lot of beads. You know what I'm saying? And her neck got to be extra long. Her shoulders is down here somewhere. You know, her neck long as heck. So that's the equivalent of what we saw in China. Let's go see this shit, because all you gotta do is put African and Chinese neck rings. Can we see one that got both of them side by side? I know I ain't the only one that did it with the side by side. Come on now. But y'all see it though, right? You got Chinese people, Orientals, right? Look at that. And part of the slang now is like, you know, a person can get some neck from her. You feel me? Like that's a slang term used in America where you know, she got them rings on, but I definitely would catch some neck from her. Damn. Like, you know what I mean? That'd be the whole neck. But I don't want to be disrespectful. You know, these people disrespectful. I'm just saying as an example. That's what's going on with the necks. The necks they putting rings on them. You know what I'm saying? And so them Chinese people and those Africans don't even talk to each other. They don't even know about each other, yo. Like somebody need to put them in the same room. For real. Somebody need to put them in the same room. Like, here go African, here go a Chinese with that neck shit. And, you know, but these are this is Seminole woman. You don't just come make some shit up and wear that. You know, that's nobody's idea that just make things up. They don't come up with, okay, let's put 1,000 beads around her neck and see if that worked. No, this is an ancient tradition. And this is an ancient American history that they hide. You know what I'm saying? And so if you line up her, you know, if you're talking about her being an Aboriginal American, then the question naturally would come up that who are these people? Because they said these people was Native Americans. That's a strong monkey. That's a strong monkey look right there. That's a strong. Am I tripping? Do you see the monkey in it? It's a strong little chimp. Look, all right. Anyways, these supposed to be natives. Look, damn. They just got these furry blankets. You know, they pour in squalor. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the same for the Seminoles. So let's look at the differences. You look at ancient artwork and you see basically a similar lineup because these people is these people. Them badass Chinese is these just derelict. I think that's the only difference is that these Chinese, I say loosely, right? But these people is derelict. Like they not telling. Like they got a strong no snitching policy, so they wasn't saying shit to the white people, man. So it's up to us to figure out who was who and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because look, the Mayans got the info. Look, they tried to burn all this shit up. They tried to burn it all up, but it wasn't all burnt up. So all right. Let's look at some more old stuff. This is the Chinese. This is an actual ancestor of the Chinese. No bullshit. One of the ancestors, I don't know, it depends on who you talk to. It's a billion Chinese. But that's the ancestor of the Chinese people, man. The meatball ain't got no head. He is a meatball, a hairy little meatball. And got the nerve to be feisty with the axe and the, you know what I mean? So anyways, here go a cave painting. This is a cave painting showing that these little things did exist. They did exist. Check it out. So the Chinese ain't lying after all. And that we could count that there was some headless people out there. And they were feisty as fuck. They'll be ready to fight you. You know what I'm saying? If you disrespect them and shit like that. You know what I mean? That type shit. You know, be like, oh, look, this motherfucker ain't got no head. And the motherfucker be ready to fight you over that shit. Right. So, all right. So, look, melanated people, put your little yo together. You know what I'm saying? And look, I think they grew up. Look, melanated people. I'm just saying, who are they? We don't know who these are because Moors don't dress like this. All right. Christians, as we know it, medieval times, people do not dress like this. You ain't never seen nobody, no picture outside of this and another picture perhaps that dressed like this. If you did, let me see, or drop the link. You know what I mean? Put it, say it's out there because I want to see it. Because I've seen only two, and both of them got people where it's like they melanated people. This is one of them. They scratched this shit off, you see. But look what they showing us. They showing us these headless people riding a damn goat. They chimera worms. The chimera worms made into for intention of slavery, perhaps. These are little scientific creations, man. How you going to give the ancestors credit and then not give them credit at the same time? And so look at Buddy. Look, they could have used a white crown or orange crown, but they didn't. So that's the same thing then. It just might be talking about a time in ancient time. The more further back you go, the more allegorical, perhaps metaphorical it'll get. So, all right. So the creation, the perfection of the so-called beast is the name of the game. And it was a time in which they was, you know what I mean, outside with a head too. And so that time, get into the more recent times. So you got the Japanese picture on the left showing this red-headed person, and then this rock art, ancient rock art on the right showing a red-headed person, red-haired person, because there's hair all over the body, right? And so when you see the Japanese, you got to know that it's not going to be literal, it's going to be symbolic and suggestive. So now here it is, even older than that. An American artifact, right? And oh, that's not a smooth connection, because this is. So I guess that's the end. That's the end of this topic, right? Oh no, because this is a woman and she create the man. She create the man, but I'm using knowledge of the artifacts that I'm not showing here. But you see this concept she got in her hand. That's the oldest version of the Sumerian Anunnaki. So that right there, this right here, disconnects the Anunnaki and Sumeria from being the number one history forever. So that Zechariah Sitchin mistranslation and lies and all that stuff, that's all a hoax to grift money and keep people ignorant. Because there it is right there in this Mayan artwork. Right? There it is right there. Look, there it is again. There it is again. Got little buddy, little science project, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like an ancient one though, to the point where they wanted their rights. They wanted rights. Something like that. They wanted rights. You know what I'm saying? And so it don't really matter if people want rights though. Because if they don't have the right, they just don't have it. And I'm just guessing though about what they wanted. I think they was a military dispatch into the Americas from Asia, or from up north where it's cold at, them Eskimo people from Siberia and shit. You know what I mean? And so that's fair. That's fair to say. That's fair to say. I think if that's true, then it could be a reason why they don't want to celebrate their truth, right? Like, why wouldn't they be honest about it and embrace it and then change their name to the Mongolian Native Americans? You know what I mean? And so it's because of sin, right? It's because of the fact that there's a lie here and then there's a lie there and there's a lie there. And it's all woven together to incorporate foreigners from even Europe to both simultaneously claim to be a Native American and benefit from monies and land and property that they don't own or deserve or have a right to. Right? And so just because these people wanted to, don't give them the right. And they haven't learned that as a people, nation, or anything. They ain't got no historical evidence of them knowing what to do with many things. Look at Elon Musk. He is the world's first trillionaire. And there ain't no hope to put in him. You know what I'm saying? Look at Barron Trump. He's in a young person demographic, and there's no light to expect from him. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same thing here. These people up here making shit up, knowing damn well that no ancient people was wearing any of this zesty paintball uniforms. Motherfuckers out here cosplaying, wearing fake. This is all it ever was fake feathers. See, you know what's hidden is the textile companies. What's hidden is the costume makers and the costume designers, because when that camera got invented, them motherfuckers started to act different for real. When that camera, somebody came up with an idea, like, listen, let's just take a picture and say, what do you know what I mean? Who's making that? That's the, I don't know. Somebody, it's a Chinese shop somewhere. It's a Chinese shop somewhere making them clothes. Look at this. Y'all ever seen Indians in a car? Because I haven't. I haven't. That shit look like they the ops to me, son. Straight up. They look like the ops to me. You know why? Because look at them. These look like 4 different areas, 4 different chiefs. These are 4 different chiefs. And I think I know what it is. Y'all ready? So this is a map. This is North America, Northeast America at the right. This meatball, Geronimo, he represents Seminoles. Because that's how the Seminoles dress, right? And so the dude behind him will represent the lower west side of the country. And then the dude next to him will represent up there in Alaska, Canada, Washington State area, that quadrant. And so this right here is proof it's a collusion, a confederation of tribes to that had imported foreigners to wreak havoc and steal land and to pose, right, where the government giving them free land and money. So what's the difference between these people and the Ukrainians? They in the state of war, and they getting funded by the government, who is really taxpayers of the United States. And that means that the people is used as slavery. And these are just parts of a machine. Fooling everybody with cameras. Because they in the damn car. There ain't no point to even be, like, come on, man. Everybody want a car. This shit is some type of costumes. In Tulsa, Oklahoma. All this was in Oklahoma. Look, Geronimo in Oklahoma. I didn't even know he was from Oklahoma. It's a lot of Oklahoma. This is in Oklahoma. A lot of fronting in Oklahoma, the same place. The same place, man. That's Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. That whole city represent many cities in this land. It's just this one is the one we know about, and they control the narrative. Right? That's the one we know about. They control, they say there's only one. So look at this. This is shit. Look at that. They had some type of costume on, some type of I don't know, man. Some type of blackface they wore. That's so weird. There's no explanation for that. So look, these people are supposed to be Indians. They're taken from different parts. What? Well, Peru ain't that far from Terra del Fuego. What them people doing that far down at the bottom? It's like they was sent on a mission and shit. You know what I'm saying? Go down there. Oh, that's a symbol he got in his hand. The way he holding them arrows. Look, that's Canadian. He in Canada. He got the little pouch. Look, he got the fringes. See, that shit is embroidered. Somebody put some effort to that shit. He got clothes on. Look, he probably wearing somebody else shit for real. That's probably what's going on. He wearing somebody else shit because he don't look like the Powhatan people, man. So he's supposed to be in that same area. Look, I think they put on the clothes of people. Yeah. It wasn't their clothes. Look at him now. That's Peru. All that's fake. All that's fake. He in a costume. He even got his toes painted. He in a costume, man. Like a clown outfit. Look at all them colors. That shit goofy as fuck. What is you representing? Y'all got beat up. What the fuck is talking about? Like, how you gonna catch hella diseases and lose in war so much and then come up and get in a fake ass costume like this? You must be trying. It must be a selfish reason you're doing this. But nah, you'll see the Native Americans do the same shit. They'll make some shit up. They'll wear some shit like that. And it's really they was raised in an environment that was lying to them. They still, you know what I mean? Some of them still out there making igloos and shit. That's real. With the fringes. The fuck? Like, you ain't got to, but you can. You know, just make some beef jerky. Last you a year or 3. And then, go on a trek and keep walking till you see lights. Keep walking till you see lights and see airplanes and shit. If you see airplanes, wave them down. Because you being stranded in the middle of nowhere on your own is just a result of child abuse because your parents left you outside with them instead of putting you in a city or a town. And now you out there, you know how to eat off a whale back. You know how to carve you up some ice and shit. Like, no, man. They acting like it's clean out there. And they gotta be out there. Because they ain't never taken a bath or shower. You see them blood stains, that shit is from like a week ago. They let all that shit stay on there. That might be from a month ago. It's not dirty. It's too cold for germs. It's too cold for germs. And everything, like funkiness is a heat. Funky stank shit is a heat off the stankness. It's not cold. It ain't no cold stinks. It's a heat stink. Like so they just, the Genghis Khan and them, they used to just shit and piss, wipe the shirt, they plant their clothes with everything, and whatever they ate and all this shit killed. Like they was the most germiest and non-hygienic types. And that's just crazy. The Europeans who they is in cahoot with in general are known for bringing diseases to the New World. the diseases that nearly wiped them out, if not totally wiped them out, depending on who you think is the ones who got the diseases. So it pretty much well could be these people that had caught the diseases. And that would show that their population must have been so great that somebody thought it was a good idea to use a pestilence to mix in with them, right? To try to slow them down and shit. For real. Like, y'all doing too much out there. I don't even know how y'all getting aroused in the damn snow. It's not my business. It's just y'all is out there doing things that are abnormal to me. And I think we all humans, but some people might be something else for real. Some people got a little mix in them more. Like a snow monkey, perhaps. Snow monkey, perhaps. She got a tattoo on her face. Damn. She got tattoos on her face. Damn. So they got time to get a tattoo out there in the damn cold, making babies by just creating a fire inside the igloo and going to sleep warm and shit, making baby. Damn. Do they even want the fire on? Like, do they even want to be warm? Like, did you know that there was a place where they got Snicker bars and hot dogs and steaks? Did you know that there was a place with microwaves? He don't give two. He don't even care. He don't even want to go nowhere else. What is he thinking about? All right. So here go a few more pictures of so-called Native Americans. And well, this guy here, he's from Siberia. I guess he's from the sunny side of Siberia. He's from somewhere over there. He's from somewhere over there. Yeah, Siberia. He think he a priest chief. He got the bones. Is that what the fuck does he? What the fuck he got on? He got a little diamond chain. Oh hell no! Nah. This man got a diamond chain. That's some old Taylor Swift necklace. This man got a Taylor Swift necklace on. He got Taylor Swift diamonds on. Yeah, he probably stole. He looked like he stole all that too. So I ain't never seen an Oriental with hair like that. He kind of do remind me of them kung fu movies though. But his shit look like it's a couple of different colors, man. The fun. What is he squinting for? Ain't no sunlight in the damn Siberia. What's he squinting for? Is sunlight out there? At least he trimmed his beard. He don't look like, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I ain't gonna give him no credit. He got the little dumbass vest on. He don't want no schmizzy. That motherfucker, I don't know where that meatball from. I think he's Siberian, man. He's Siberian. What y'all think? That motherfucker, so he in the sunlight. Look at that shit. Yo, what? He's Siberian. This is a Siberian picture, though. It's like the only one in the daytime, like in the summertime or some shit. And I forgot who's supposed to be the most indigenous representative over there or some shit like that. Oh, he on a witchcraft shit. He a little voodoo or something. I don't know. So he look like he don't even supposed to be there. Like, look, he don't know what the fuck going on. That's a Seminole. They said that's a Seminole. Right. He got big cheekbones. He kind of look like Tony Jaa for real. A scared Tony Jaa and shit. Like, motherfucker, like he ain't never wear. He don't know if they gonna shoot him or what with that camera. He look confused. Here go another Native American. Now, god damn. Now this shit don't even look real. I think they were using CGI and Photoshop to create a fake race to install into the narrative. And then they push it along as history. That's why it'd be mandatory for us to know this bullshit, Thanksgiving dinner, pilgrim shit over reality. You know what I'm saying? And so look, here go reality. The reality is white people is them Indians, man. The fuck? White people is them Indians, dog. Look, they in teepees for real. Like white people in them teepees. White people. Shout out your Sami heritage, right? Anything after that is you going to thank Red Squid for telling. I'm just keeping it 1,000 with you. The ice wall, hollow earth. Nobody wants to be defeated. I understand. Don't nobody want to be disgraced. Like even the Native Americans could find a way to get some pride, even if they're from the inner earth side. They definitely gotta stop this shit. Stop repping that shit. Put the TPs down. Put the TPs down, get the land back, relax. Yeah. Fall all the way back. Because this is what Native Americans' connection is to Asia. That is the most important at this time. Right? It's like walls or fortified accounts of people, you know what I mean, that build and they grow in population. And their whole reality, their ancestral tradition is to be anti-Aboriginal. And so it's like, even though these kids is growing up, let's say on reservations, they still could just be like a human being that is in ignorance, right? Even though they're not so-called subject to the laws of, let's say, I guess, the United States. Their education still trash. They got drug, alcohol problems, crime. Like they look like they squatting. They ain't never build up no shit. They ain't got no damn neighborhoods or nothing. It's everybody in the trailer or some dumb shit. Like, you know, that's what they doing in Alaska. That's what they doing in North Canada. That's what they doing on the islands far away. Like they live the same. They got all the trash out there. And they gonna be in some land, and guess what? They got a nerve to be hostile. They'll organize. They'll organize for some hate speech or something. And they little right. So how these people are African? They in Africa saying they got a right to be in Africa as Afrikaners. So what's going on there? What's going on there, Karen and Darren, South Afrikaners from Scandinavia? You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't ancient. Ain't no way that's ancient. I seen a Muslim with that shit on. And looking up the hashish and shit, but that shit is, I don't know, dog. I don't like hats. I don't care who wearing them. That shit a little dumb to me. But maybe they had horns. You know, I don't know. And their ancestors had horns and shit. Perhaps, maybe not. I don't know. But they seem to like the red and the blue together. They ain't got no gang problems. You got the yellow, them leather pants. Okay. See, now that increased the outfit by like 16 points. His defense went up. His defense and his speed went up. Shit. All right. So yeah, that's the Sami people. So that's the ancestors of all any Caucasian you can think of, right? Because they say they ain't from the Caucasus Mountain. So you know what I mean? And so through there, think of the Sami as like a portal or like a gateway. So once you get it to where, all right, they're from the most northernest part where they ride reindeer and set up teepees. Then you go even further than that, you on the ice sheets, you in the hollow earth. Because the ice sheets take you to the hollow earth. And the hollow earth is where the ancient artifacts say they from. But there was monkeys down there. And so maybe the trek made them lose their hair, perhaps. And they like transformed on the way to the surface world. I don't know. But the concept of a portal is found amongst these people. I'd say this is the Eskimo. And the Eskimos seem to predate the Samis. But I don't know. They both together. I'm gonna call them Oriental. The Oriental and the so-called European ancestors was both together on the ice. You know what I'm saying? They was both together. They got the same swag and the traditions and all that. So I mean, well, maybe not traditions, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of what African nomadic people look like and where they live. Do they make teepees too? It could be just the common makeshift the common makeshift living quarter. And so pitch and tents go back to the Bible. Computer, where in the Bible does it mention the original source of those who pitch tents?
Genesis 4:20 says Jabal, son of Ada, was the father of those who dwell in tents, marking the origin of the nomadic people.
And what people today could be traced back to him?
Jabal's legacy shows up in today's shepherds and nomadic herders. Think of Bedouin-style tribes and pastoral communities that raise livestock.
See, I was talking about an actual lineage heritage. You talking about tradition, culture, and things. That's two different things.
Got it. You were asking about actual genealogical lineage, not cultural tradition. Lineage is the direct parent-to-child descent chain, while heritage covers broader customs.
Listen, fall back, because now you know what I mean? Never mind.
All right, I get it.
So anyways, y'all see that? That is the arm, leg, arm, head in a portal. You see that? So it's a male, female concept as well. The star and the crescent is touching. It's like a machine. But anyways, this is Eskimos. These are whale bones. And so you just don't get no other source than the people that's getting it from whale bones. So that means that this is an original concept from people that work with whale bones. Right. So was these Eskimos was these ancient American creations or productions that turned into Eskimos. Did they get put on the ice? No, nah. There's no other explanation that I like besides my own about where they're going, where they came from. The Siberian artifact shows the monkey-faced people down there in the Hollow Earth. The Sioux people say that they came from the Hollow Earth following after instructions. Following. So they say they're from the Hollow World. And so this would be somebody associated with the Hollow World or the underworld. Look, cave people, real cave people, y'all. But they're not in caves. They're not in caves. They outside. Like y'all don't even know, man. This, like, she outside. They outside. Them kids growing up outside. People are so negative in the world where they're trying to blow people civilization up. Nobody wants to be this down bad where your way of life is foraging in the damn forest. Like, it's cool. That's how shit started. I get it. But you got to keep up with the times when it comes to being civilized. We got to think about the future. We got to think about the children. CPS will be called on Shorty and him. And that's how we gotta set our standards on everything. We shouldn't be anticipating or expecting to be in this state again or of this state ever. Like, look, that's some cave woman. And I'm not saying I wouldn't holler. I still holler at both of them, but I'm just saying, probably not. I mean, if they turn to the God and they converted, they've truly repented and all that, yeah, I definitely would want them on my team. Because look, that's the rarest. That's some rare woman right there. Damn. Straight from the, like, I don't know, it's just like that's a cave woman. Like, I ain't never really think, because cave women, we be thinking of like white women with their hair getting pulled by the caveman. That's how I grew up learning about cavemen. They say hello to the woman by hitting them with a stick, and you drag her off to where he live at. I wouldn't hit neither one of these women with a stick, though, by the way. The one on the right looked like she wouldn't be going for none of that type of shit. The one on the left, I wouldn't even do it to her. I'd probably like read her a poem. She'd be like, what's up with the sex? That's all she can think about. I ain't gonna put that on her. But nah, man, there ain't nothing sexy out there. She need to be cleaned up. That's what I'm saying. She need to be brought in. Like, look, this is a toothbrush. This is a loofah. This is a jacuzzi. Get up in there and think about yourself. Kids is all right. Everybody cool. Just get cleaned up. Here you go a steak. You hear me? And throw a steak to her. You know? Here you go a steak. A steak. Let's see if she like it. Then we gonna bring it to the table. She like it, we'll bring it to the table. You like that? That's cooked chicken. Come on up here. Sit with that. Yeah. So, what was it like? Foraging for food and shit. Once she learned the language, she be like, man, god damn, I can't. I'm so happy y'all saved me. Like, god damn. Outside it was just one fur blanket. And I hated that man I was with. Damn. They need to be liberated. That's what's up. They need to be liberated from their point of squalor and shit. You know what I mean? She probably bad. No makeup needed. She just need, you know what I mean, some clean living space and education. Then we'll work. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. See, look, damn. A whole bunch of CNs. Whole bunch. Oh shit, yo, what? They got blankets, but how they got all the same blanket though? Like you gonna need these. Like they got all the blanket. They got the same blanket. It's a bunch of dudes too, yo. You know what I mean? See, that's probably what they did. They separated the men and the women, took the pretty girls, took the pretty women. Not to say that they took the children, the women, and then the men and separated them probably. Yeah. Look at Shorty. She could have been underage when she met this man. You know what I mean? She could have been raised by this man. He could have purchased her. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying he could have. It's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Because look, she don't look happy. She don't look happy. So it's a possibility she is in a relationship she was forced into. And notice how she looked lighter in the face, lighter in the skin and shit than he did. Like he looked like he darker than her. Okay. So from Ecuador to the Middle East, you see that? That Anunnaki concept that we destroyed earlier, there you have it in a metal plate. And then you have it redrawn on the stone or made in the stone. So you see where the concept come from is the oldest spot. But they use the same imagery. So it's like, all right, how do you know Ecuador is older? It's because of the detail. The detail is slightly different. So you got a more longer neck over here, more of a reptilian look. Over here is more like a bird. They both got the beaks and shit, but either way, right? Here you got a map of the United States, right? Like this tell you that there was some over here that was intelligent civilization. They was able to make this type of art. They say that's from Ecuador, right? The blueprint to what you see in Asia, and the Middle East, and all of that. There it is, right? So this is also proof that there was people over here, cities, civilization flourishing before so-called Christopher Columbus. And the reason why I could say that is because this is less than 100 years after Christopher Columbus that they made this, so to speak. And it got thousands of years of information in the picture, because a person can't traverse and mark these territories in 100 years. This is more than 100 years where you see all these cities with the red blotch on them. This is more than 100 years, because the whole America and the whole Africa and the whole Asia and the whole Europe is also told about. So how they know about this, you can't come up with this type of map in 100 years. That take hundreds upon hundreds of years to get this information. So what they did, like all things, is copy it and remix it and change it up a little bit and re-put it out there, because it's too great for them to not do it. So when you look down here in Mexico, shit popping off in Mexico. But when you hear United States history, they had a war at the Alamo with Mexico, and people get sleepy and forget about it. But look at all this. That's a great city right there. There ain't no city down there that we know of today that's famous or as grand as Mexico is depicted here in this map. The word Jalisco is up here. Jalisco is an ancient word. There's a couple of ancient words that's in Mexico that they still use today. But you see this trend of these red dots as cities. If you don't know the Urbano Monte map, you should go look at that. So all these cities are strewn across the lands all the way throughout Canada, Alaska. Man, that's a lot going on. That's a lot going on. And so all right, so let's just go ahead to the internet and get it. Oh man. So you see this? These are tribes of the Indian nation. All right. So this map called Tribes of the Indian Nation. Look how this, oh shit. Oh, I'm about to say there's 4 of them. But look, it's in each corner, right? It's like that picture we saw with them in that car. And he got a spear. What the fuck? How he got a spear? That's interesting. So, all right. So, Cahokia right here? Nah. Oh, that's where the tribe at. Okay, I get it. So, none of these tribes. Oh, no. Let me say this. All of these tribes have at least one common denominator fact that binds them all together, and it's look like it's hundreds of them. And that one fact that binds them all together is that they don't remember ever having a built structure of stone or any city thereof like it. No. So what that mean? That means that the Native American concept in the United States is contrary to this map and vice versa. Now, which one are you going to go with? Are you going to say that this map is true and that would debunk the Native American story altogether? Or would you say that the Native American story is true over this map? Because that's what you're really dealing with. Welcome to the future. So now, yeah, I don't believe no pictures, but I definitely use pictures. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say it like this. The Odd Fellow was like, I think, a mandated interracial cooperation that is above the Boule or the Freemasons and all that type of stuff. I think when you look at the Odd Fellow, it's like more of a concept where, well, you know, this guy Mind Unveiled, who got a great channel, or got a good channel, or he might drop interesting information. I'll say that. So yeah, he did something about the Odd Fellows, and I had remember seeing them. These are not Odd Fellows; these are Freemasons. But I had remember seeing the Odd Fellows over, like, I guess, a couple years of me looking up pictures of Freemasons and stuff. And I always noticed a difference. I didn't know who they was though. This is good. It was a good video, man. We might just watch that joint. But you see, this woman, she like it's supposed to be called a caretaker or whatever. She got an apron on too. Like they both got on aprons. Is the point of this picture. So here go Freemasons and Illuminati, because we see the symbol in the background. So we can incorporate the Illuminati with them. So there go the Freemasons. You see there's a Freemason symbol here. Oh, damn. And a Freemason symbol here shows you the subordinate nature of Freemasonry. And they subordinate to the Illuminati, which is a Zionist faction, Zionist mafia. So, you know what I mean? That's why they beefing with the Vatican, because they're not Christians, or they're not people that believe in the New Testament and stuff like that. Like how they say the Orthodox Jewish people don't use the New Testament. They stay the Old Testament. Now the Old Testament is like a computer. So yeah, they computer nerds about the Old Testament and perversion and corruption. This is what the Freemasons made. See that blue and gold? That Jimmy the Cricket color. So you know they ain't right with God. They ain't right with Christ. These are occultists. These are witches, warlocks, sorcerers. They just prey on people for sexual energy, for energy, power forces, for, you know, they grip, they get your money, right? Everything's a game. Deceiving people become a game. Playing characters and roles is acceptable. Doing rituals of embarrassment and mockery and all this other shit like they is blasphemous, you know, and perverts. Look at that. These people was running this country. They just like Trump and Epstein, because if they wasn't, they would have stood up and did something by now besides sit back and let them, you know what I mean? Like they weak, yo. They some weak bastards, man. I ain't really got nothing to say about Shorty. Like, you know, humans real life did dabble in science since ancient times. To say that humans didn't do scientific concepts since ancient times would be disrespectful to intelligent minds. And so, if there's nothing new under the sun, then what's going on with AI, robots, cybernetics, transhumanism is not new either. And if they up here now, it's like these stories just get to where they seen things on the moon and they're not being denied. Then what you got to say when you could look at the evidence? There's things that you can see that they ain't even hide. It became a matter of if people believe it, like it's some CGI trick that they put on citizens to see if they believe it. But evidence will prove that they there. The moon landing proved it, but didn't try to at the time. They act like they didn't care. It was something people picked up on when they slowed down the footage that they said that they had on the moon. And there was a UFO sitting right there. That's NASA footage that they ain't even take care of. And so we should use that against them by showing that they liars. Every time you see an astronaut, they smiling ear to ear when we know they wearing wires. Damn. I'm just saying. Like Asia trying to make robots they could do something with. Look, Karate Kid, Florida State Centers, using this color code that we saw on that ancient Egyptian insectoid. Ancient Egyptian joints with the color code, the black sun, the red sun, the blood sun, and the regular sun. And so they doing this because where this shit come from? Right? The Karate Kid. This man, he was an American kid. He was supposed to be an American kid that was taught by this Japanese guy, right? Right. And Japan's supposed to be what? The land of the rising sun, right? So Florida State, yo in the sun, yo an Indian, or he's supposed to be a Seminole, right? Because that's the Florida State Seminoles. And so they were saying that was Seminole and that's their color code. Look at that color code. And so then they come out with centers where these people are in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And the sun is the backdrop because they hide in or they code in the fact that America is the land of the rising sun. But it's in a code, right, where he'll wear this Muslim part, this Robert Townsend part to represent this supposed to be the thinking man. You know what I'm saying? And so it says centers, and it's like he ended up catching the disease from white people, essentially. And yeah, they won Grammys, but the Book of Clarence in with no Grammy. So they go to color code red, black, and gold, or yellow. And you can see what I mean when I say that when we saw it in the ancient Egyptian, it was so old that you still show the insectoid humanoids that's our ancestors in the art. That's how old it was. It was no sense. There was no sense of what you call censorship, right? Let's go back to it. That's not it. There it is. There's no sense of censorship. Like this was censorship, though. It wasn't. It was saying maybe it was difficult to draw, but it wasn't. It was like the first. Like, listen, we got this. Put a symbol of me instead of me. Like instead of a person, it's a symbol. You know what I mean? Like somebody must have been thinking. The insectoids was like, look, that's the symbol. That it's like a calligraphy or cursive saying, take this holographic projection instead. It was like, you know, like I said though, this is 3 different versions of insectoid domination. As the source, they work together though. They work together though. Okay. It's like a family. And so basically, oh, okay, the insectoid went into humanoid bodies. I don't know. I like my first explanation better. The point there was the color code. So let's just keep with the point. The point was that the red, black, and gold is that old. When you see it in other places in the world, it typically means the same thing. But here you can see what they did. They made it to where the evil aboriginal is telling on themselves, saying they went evil. And then the white people are triggered to copy it, and it means destruction on black people. It's kind of like it's like a, I don't say a trick, but it's like it is. It's a like they saying like, look, that these people by color code, they saying that this is a ruler, but also by the fact that the nose is cut off. Look, this is the equivalent of the tongue hanging out the mouth for the best characters. BES. So this racist caricature right here, right, is has encoded in it through the colors true identities. Look. So now when we see this, right, you see that the people on the left is the Moors, there's the ones who's mocking the Moors, celebrating the ousting of the Muslims, the Moors from Spain, right? And so Sweden does a swarthy Pete, or the Netherlands, one of them. But then you got this, and so here is I forgot what that is, but where it is, it's somewhere, but it's a Christian tradition. It's a Christian tradition, and they're using these colors of red, black, and gold, just like this Haitian flag, Haitian admiral, right? So the Haitian admiral, he not a Muslim, but they are here calling people Muslims. See these crowns? Whose crowns is those if they supposedly ran out the Moors? Then what you got here at the top of this shield is a crown. So this saying that the people with the crown is the lion in the castle, which represent the people in the structure. The color code is consistent with the people that they're talking about. Because when they show them, look, there's the red, black, and gold. So that means that these two pictures are the same, talking about the same people. And so that prove in royalty, that prove in civilization, that prove numbers, and that prove a still standing tradition that could be seen and found as these pictures is. So there's evidence everywhere. This is how South America, this is how Peru depict these people, those people, right? This is how they depict the people. You see? So they have a very negative memory that they is trying to perpetuate with this, also using the black, gold, and red color code. So notice that he got a white mask on. That's very interesting. Yeah, a very bloodthirsty memory of Aboriginal Americans is what's being displayed, but they're probably talking about conquistadors. That's what they would say it is. And so the nose is cut off because of their bloodline. They were the monsters, right? It's the same thing. In America, it is more raw. It gives you to you in more of a realistic detail. But it could be off in a few things about it. But in the Asia, they did keep it blackface though. See, they turned him into a green lizard. Now imagine if they had made it where this was a black dude. This is a whole nother, you know what I mean? It's something else to talk about besides the race. It's talking about the reptilian rulers. You know what I'm saying? So this is a dragon right here. This is a black dragon, so to speak. That's probably the, you know how they say the last dragon was Bruce Leroy. But look, that shit look like Chinese pyramids or Chinese art, little temples and shit. And so the concept of China get come later. So this person, Jay Morse, look, that's his name, Jay Morse, 1671. So at least at 1671, they was making shit up, making up names, and putting in these illustrations that was supposedly almost 100 years since it was made, right? Like they talking about 100 years ago. And so they don't know what it looked like. So he's drawing a picture. This is a picture that's supposedly been 100 years before him. So look at these people with all these masks on and shit. Or is that how they supposed to look? You see how they look like demons and ghosts? Look, a whole sea of them, demons and ghosts and shit. A whole sea of them. But these people got regular eyes, supposedly. That shit ain't regular. So this supposed to be Francis Drake being crowned by the Queen of California. Sir Francis Drake is the one they call that is the one who is the snakehead area in South America is named after Drake's Passage. And so Drake means a dragon or a son of a dragon. And so it's you know what I mean, it's conspiratorial American history. Right? They say California Indians 1671. But this event supposed to happen in the 1500s in 1579. And it took them 100 years to draw it. And what you see, a bunch of black women right? And so this is what they talking about when they talking about Khalifa had an island of black women. They went over there, man. They look like a bunch of Ku Klux Klan people and shit. Like people with the white mask on. And they look like they got guns. They got guns in 1671. Oh, they got guns in the 1500s. They had guns. Huh. So they saying that they went over there where the island of black women was at and got them to submit and get crowned. That's what they're saying. So here go proves about America's ancient connection with the rest of the world's ancient stuff. Here you got the Venka. The Venka look more older than the Inca. You know, it got more detail to it, or is totally different? But the Venka do look older, though. I don't know, man. I fucks with the Inca. The Venka is not older. Because the little people started first. And the Inca, you can see this man, his feet hanging off. The Venkas grew was Jiminy the Cricket. And so Jiminy the Cricket, them people made all the other sizes. So this is more technological, though. He got a little suit on. We see this in the Jomon situation. Here is the American Garuda versus not verse, but versus the Asian Garuda. All right. And so this is the war with the serpent, or the taming of the violence. You know what I'm saying? The what they call a law enforcer. And so it's really a face mask and a helmet and symbology. No whole shit about it. So we know what them people look like too, yeah. Oh man. I should do it now. We're taking a detour, man. Sidebar, and then I'm gonna take a break and read the chat. I am going slow though. I'm sorry. We gotta get to it. It shouldn't be too much time. Let's go to paste. Let's open up one. Dang. Have it there. Let's go to the other file. So there it is, y'all. Peace. Oh shit, where's the picture I just put out here? Oh. Check it out. Look, that's a little Olmec baby. That's a little Olmec baby, yo. I mean, he probably was a giant, but that's an Olmec. Look. Oh man, he a little giant. Oh man, that's coming from this. That's coming from Oceana and so to see it in America with a helmet would mean that Oceana older. Didn't I say something like that yesterday about the helmet? And they wasn't wearing the helmet face mask in America. It was wearing it in Oceania. And I had seen this American picture they had recently discovered. and it was a humanoid version of the pudgy little motherfuckers or the little people we seen in Oceania. It's like it's a Pangean. It's just Pangea because they was connected at one time, man. The land, you could tell. Because it's like you don't get it to where it's like they traveled. And somebody was there already. All right. That's a good connection. Now let's go back to what we was doing. Almost done with this presentation that was proven that the Chinese stole identity traits and invention claims allegedly from the American ancient antiquity. These are paranormal photos. So I'm not going to use any paranormal photos past that to get the point across today. We got somebody look like Tasha K. That's a royalty. Get a picture of Tasha K, put her up there. Tasha K, definitely, that makes sense, right? Tasha K reincarnated somebody special. So that's a woman. She got a crown. So she's a queen. And she got them 3 feathers in her turban. Oh, so that's her without, that's like she not like showing the crown is like the crown is under that. So they go a king, they say it could be Mansa Musa, could be Prester John. But this is just to show y'all that they do exist, right? Concepts in which melanated people as kings and queens does exist. And I mean outside of Africa, you know what I'm saying? Like outside of the narrative of the typical, you know what I mean, image of savagery. So with this one, it's possible links to King Solomon or King David. And somebody's called the wisest of the world. Here is Peru. Right? The biblical got the wisest man in the world in it. What other source got that? So Peru got this connection to melanated rulers. And look, they go across right there. So they go across and he got a crown on. Right? And so that's proof that calling people Moors was just another tactic and had people brainwashed generations later think it's okay to use that word like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if people understood that the N word is a royalty description, then they wouldn't, you know what I mean, be so haphazard with the representation. Right? Where it's like, here you have it, where it's true. Look, she got a crown. You know what I'm saying? So look, he got a crown. But you don't hear about this in school. Like they don't be like, yeah, he was the king of Peru, a black king of Peru that simultaneously ruled in England. So what type of sense does that make? Besides the fact that America was the seat of the oldest lineages to rulership in the world over the world governments or affairs or just that stuff that was from the beginning. Here you have where the blueprint of the temple for the so-called Hebrews is also a temple complex format, but really the temple complex format predate those concepts. I don't know, maybe it don't predate it because you got to have a blueprint before you start building something. So this definitely is a blueprint right now. So it's proof that America is the source of what they call anything biblical. Anything biblical. The Bible is American. Look. So that's Asia, they fucked up. Man, Asia fucked up for this. Asia is really fucked up, man. They really fucked up. That's how they feel. That's what they remember. They don't even see black people like that, but it was like, man, remember them evil black people that used to be around? That's basically what they say. And you know what's fucked up? They say that shit in Peru, Sweet, what do they call it? The Netherlands, Spain, China. It's like, yo, they would stare at a black person in China and touch their hair without their permission. But they got this in their tradition where it's like they is usually, you know what I'm saying? And so they go Europe, look at Europe, not so-called Europe. Look at the blue and the gold, like Jiminy the Cricket. Right, the blue and the gold, like Jiminy the Cricket. See? So, you know what I mean? They talking about melanated people, man. That's connected to the insectoids because that's, melanin is with them. The insectoids have melanin in their shells, in their little chitin or whatever they call it. For real, like melanin, like real talk. The black beetle, come on, man. They didn't just make that shit up. The mother spider, the darkness, you know what I mean? Look, they trying to mock this shit. This right here, crazy. They trying to mock it. They try to mock black history that they hide, and look, that's American right there. Look. So what's that statue that we seen? I said it was about the color codes. Right. Look, it's supposed to be racist. It's supposed to be racist right here on this right here on the right. Yeah. So that's across the whole world, all around the world. Same song. Digital Underground, Tupac first showed up in a dumbass movie called Nothing But Trouble. And they spent hella money on movies and ain't never make no real. Everything just telling us we have potential to do better. They hide black faces. That's what they would call it. I ain't gonna call them black faces, but this is proof that non-Europeans existed in America before Vikings. Because they trying to say Vikings pulled up first now. It's before the Vikings. Where the Viking statues at? they saying the Vikings pulled up, but where they statues at? Yo, they ain't got no statues. I don't know what this going. I don't know what this is like. What? I don't know what that is, but that's terrible looking. All right, so you got a computer. Where is DEVON? Where Ufkulum is? Computer. Where is Ufkulme, Devon?
Ufculme is a village in the mid-Devon district of Devon, England, sitting in the Blackdown Hills on the B3440 near the M5 motorway and the Bristol-Exeter Railway. Close to the town of
Computer. All right, then. All right, I got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Glad I could help you find Ufculme.
So, yeah, in England, huh? A black knight? I ain't never heard of such a thing. Look, it's not even dirt. They meant to be black. It's a black knight. He got red lips. What type of shit is that? In England. You know what I'm saying? So they go America. Can't get that confused. Right? Can't get that confused. You know what I'm saying? They go Japan or China. Japan, China area. I'm just saying, making these correlations and lineups is always entertaining and fun and educational because this is not what narrative does. This is not what colleges do. Colleges their professors ain't trying to get fired. Talking about black people was in high ranks of society in every facet of the world you could think of and not isolated to Africa. Right. And so when you look at the reason, or like if you look at details past even that, though, because really this is the Persians on the right. That's Persians. They older than the Sumerians. So basically the Sumerians is a jump off the Persian joint. And then in the middle, that's the European territories. And then on the left is the American territories. And man, that says a lot. It says a lot because it's a long time between this and this. Right? There's a long time going on here where you will see this consistent thread that these people was rulers and monarchies and shit. So this Anunnaki concept has been destroyed in this presentation, man. Like it's proof, right, that this is a homunculus jar. This is a person being put together. That's what ancient Americans was up to. And there's a lot of fallen angel evidence to go along with it. And so here is an American artifact that is essentially the same thing we see in Africa. And so it is mentioned in the Bible that there's two Egypts. And this could be the original white and black, or left side, right side, because we only think of the Middle East and Asia and Europe as different continents because the brainwashing. But there's only 3 and some change, right? Continents. Like, if you count big islands, but if you don't, then it's like you got the southern hemisphere, the eastern and the west hemisphere, right? You got that one landmass, and then you got that other one landmass, not including Antarctica. That's an interesting lineup right here. Here's more evidence of alignments between countries and people. You have the Zulus. No, you know what? I don't think that's the Zulus. That's like close to Egypt. Like, look at that. You see that? Those are 2 snakes with the crowns, a red crown and a white crown. That represent Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. And so him having both those would be above all that. This is proof that the Nubian areas was the real territories of rulership. And they don't want to talk about that. Either way, you see the headdress. And so you got Peru. Look, the Egyptians did it. All right, so they go to, hold on, Peru. So here go the Egyptians. We know this Egyptian. They don't know how they made them statues. He got the fez, and then he got that joint. And so that means this right here is the source to this right here, which they made. That's how old them African traditions is. They stayed outside with the shit, so to speak. And this is what people that, they did some and use technology to represent that, which they came from, right? And so leopard print represent rulership, monarchy. He a king. And we can tell he a king because he got the leopard print. And you can also tell how strong of a king he is because you look at his crown. And he got Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt under his foot. And he got the gold crown. That's tough. So here you got Peru got it, where they got the same shit. And some old some type of metal. I don't know if that's really gold, but they look gold plated, at least. It could be gold. It probably is gold. Like, they had a lot of gold over there. This right here looked like a damn pacifier, but it also looked like the mouth of them demons, them shadow people and shit, them spider people. I didn't make this lineup yet. I always be thinking to look for this picture when I come across some spider beings, some shadow beings. But anyways, right, here go Bess, right? And so this is to show y'all that Bess is a lot of times shown as like a dwarf or some insignificant, but it's really everywhere. But this is also to show you that they do show them with long, regular legs. You usually see them with the bow legs, right? But these African versions is really accurate. Like this is a wood carving. That shit accurate. They kind of look like. So anyway, you see the tongue is out. And so they go to a human woman. She's standing on alligators. Now this is an ancient African wood carving that predate a lot of things, man. It predate. It's so old. It's such an ancient thing. Here go statues of this person. So when you see the alligator when they depict an American woman, it made me think like, okay, this could be that relationship between Africa and America shown in this artifact. And because this will represent the alligators, the same thing that you see here will represent the woman, right? And then later on, they made this postcard. I rebuke the devil. Oh, damn. I rebuke the devil, man. They got these alligators around this woman. Like they try to make it racist. Like they had a whole thing about alligator bait and feeding kids, black kids, to alligators. Like that's proven. That's not even a conspiracy. We could just talk about that. We could run a campaign on that because they can't not prove it, disprove it, right? They can't disprove it, right? They can't debunk that shit. You know what I mean? It's revenge for the alligator bait. Everything else, featuring everything else. You know what I mean? Revenge of the alligator bait featuring everything else, man. No joke. Look, because when you see these ancient artifacts and then you see how they have this not so ancient wood carving right here in the middle, that is replaying the ancient techniques. So we know that it's America. That is Pangea because of the United States update brought by God because of Stealth Civilization Radio. Damn. Shout out to Stealth Civilization Radio. SOS to the moon. Look, we ain't no goofies, man. We see that this all talking about the same people, y'all. This is all talking about the same people. It just don't look like it because of different times and places and stuff. So look, the Pacific Islands, them people big, robust, they rotund, heavy people, right? South America, Mayans that are like that too. India, look, they got their tongue out. So Kalima talking about what? California. So Pacific Islands get it. Look, you see the Mayan? You see all them things is on their face? Like tattoos on their face or jewelry on their face on that statue. All right, so now yeah, this is probably, you know what I mean, some of the evil killings that was going on or the sacrifices that was going on because it was white people was a minority. You know what I'm saying? They could have been people that, you know what I'm saying, just went ahead and became some type of food and was known to be treated badly by the royalty or the people in charge or their descendants, et cetera, et cetera. Right? And so a vicious, brutal, how would you call, probably just I don't know, man. They didn't have no place, man. Obviously, you can see that when you look in the background, right? This woman, she represents America, right? She a black woman, just like that story has said. And when you see this, it say an emblem of America, and then it show a black woman, right, with clothes on, right, with shoes, with an arrow, kind of like that Tasha K looking picture. And then you see over here say Montezuma, King of Mexico. He do got a whole bunch of colors on for real. They do be doing that. Look in the background. Look, he got all them buildings in the back. See, look, all that was going on. Mexico had all those buildings before colonialists, so-called, before they had, you know what I'm saying? Before they had came over there. So this right here proved that America had building structures, and the Aboriginals of America before the false narrative, and it was melanated. And so they had both tribal like costumes and outfits to wear. And they had more what we would consider formal, traditional. And it's like, it's basically, it was what you wanted to wear. Like you see the people out here now doing shit, they wearing stuff, but it came from a bland, normalizing bland, I guess, to where people start to use more vibrant colors, and it start to like, it's a normalized, it's like the swag going to equal out. But if it was a time where we all had no financial worries and we had no, worry for the future or stress from the society, then people would be out there wearing all type of shit that they want to wear. Straight up. They'll be wearing all type of things with big old cities and skyscrapers and shit. You don't know what somebody will wear in the future where there ain't no worries about nothing. And you know what I mean? People got all the money they can ever need, and they out there, they be looking in crystal holograms, studying the past, trying to get new ideas to make outfits and shit. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, anyways, man, look, the other day I had went over things and I was muted. I apologize. This is just evidence, right, that there is a missing part of history that deal with kings and knights and castles naturally, right? There's evidence out here, right? I've shown this picture before, but there's still, this what we're talking about now is this thing, this right here. That's proof that it means rule of the world. Now, if y'all saw the build we did on the cross and how that mean the center of the world and the world tree and the whole earth and all that, then I ain't gotta do it again. But so they got these rulers of the world, and it's just like, all right, so why it's always got to be a mystery what this type of stuff is, or they downplay it. And so Demonology by King James and the concepts of controlling demons by Solomon is a connection to the historical lineage and traits of a people that is now rumors, like a byword. Now, rumor, Prester John, is it true? Is it false? Why they spend all that time on a fake idea? That's Prester John, right? They could be lying about things. It could have been the first time that they started to lie on pictures. But the evidence is in all. The evidence is in all the, what you call it, the artwork like this that says, yeah, there's a whole bunch of evidence of kings, queens, and knights that was definitely not the minority amongst a people. And so when you see just more evidence of it, right? This version of a race war. It could be a war between people, but it could be made racist. And so we're gonna just say, put a slow and for the bad mind and all that to be rebuked in the name of Jesus. Because real talk, that's how they drew it, man. If they wanted to mix it up, and I've seen it where it was mixed up before, they could have did that. But there's a Mongolian picture showing them warring with Prester John. And so we've seen this all time and time again where they didn't get it mixed up. It's black people in castles that's having the war with people trying to take that shit over. And when you zoom in, you see the traits of the bandana. You can see it in another picture where they make sure to put the bandana on there. Like this is the other picture. Look, they made sure to put the bandana on there. They made sure to put the bandana on there. So if people think that that's confusing, I don't know, man. It should be the one with the Moors and the Wild, man. This is the one that should be next. Right. This is the famous one, the Wild Men versus the Moors. And so there it is, where it's a castle. Black people is defending it, and they go to white headband. Okay. And so look. When you see symbols like this, it's talking about black people. It's talking about black people, man. And so this is the same build I did the other day about the nose and this connection to the reptilian connection to the bloodlines. And so these are ancient statues in Asia that's connected to people of color whose history has been affected by some type of religious race war. So truth is good. So, you know what I mean? Let it be declared that people of God is the winners of God's favor. And therefore the judgment of Most High God is God's business. God bless and protect us. Look, so how Haiti got emperor and an empress? Did y'all know that Japan is the only place with an emperor and an empress in the world? So how did Haiti have one and now Japan got it? Just like the title for rising sun, land of the rising sun. Konnichiwa is the name of the Mayan god, and it's a greeting in Japan. Also prove that America is the land of the rising sun original. And so how you got it where Haiti ain't supposed to be nothing but a bunch of freed slaves or people that fought for their freedom, and they got all this exquisite jewelry and clothes, and they definitely represent nice. They look wealthy, and then the people around them look good too. They got on nice clothes and jewelry, and so yeah, some don't add up. Some don't add up because remember they had called those people selfish, and so that means that they had something, right? And so the original concepts of rulership with them people is seen in these coded pictures. Look at this. Like this man got white people like these redheaded redheads. That means he's the devil. That means he's the devil. And so they said that a dark-skinned, rotund man is the devil. And we're to see that. Look, Mammon, the king, the god of money and all that. And so look, this is American. Look, they got the heads, the skulls. That's American artifact. Look, the heads. That's where we get Khalifa from. Kalima. No, that's where Kalima come from. Khalifa. They talking about the same queen, but they call her Kali in Hindu, but they call her Khalifa from the other side of with the Europeans and them. So the whole concept of a caliphate come from pretty much their religion. They probably jumped off the Muslim shit, what they end up calling Muslim or Islam. That's probably they shit all together. Look, this is Peru. That's Peru right there. And so look at that technique of using different color thread to show the different side of the face or something. Like that technique got to be so old to even be able to do that, almost like micro printing. And so people be like, especially those type of people, like they discard the shit, right, to explorers. They looking for gold artifacts and diamonds and crystals and shit. Whole time they had looked past all this tapestry. The tapestry in itself is almost like a megalithic structure, because how do you, like, the amount of detail to be able to do that is strong with the people. You know what I mean? Like a sacred art. So we're gonna look into clothes, and we're gonna look into this marking right here, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Before we get into part 2, go ahead and holler at the chat. Yo said Old Mex could stand for Old Mexico. Huh. Yeah, I guess. Huh. That's interesting. You can add Anak. Salute. Live and learn. Salute. Sky Free Freedom. Much love. Cheru. Remember the movie Sinners? The Native Americans / Siberian dressed like this toy Pinocchio has. What? I didn't see the movie. Hawkman had red and gold on him, and Black Adam Yeah, that count. Yeah. When he was black and then you had gold and red, right. That's how they mix it in there. Sure, you say some people in America have been seeing these headless tribal men walking around with faces in their torsos that look monstrous. Yeah. I had an experience one time. I had took some. I don't know if I had. I don't know if it was when I took shrooms or not. Uh, I think I had just came across the idea that and I didn't believe it, but it seemed like I had brought up a spirit of one of those things. And that's why I had explained it how I explained it today. And so that's proven that the universe do work in threads, because here I am now explaining the experience I had, in which that's why I said what I said about their attitude, because I had seen one without seeing one. And it was like somehow I was like in the presence of these ancient beings, this ancient person, but he ain't had. It was one of them. He ain't had no head and none. I don't know, man. It's just like they just hot tempered. They hot tempered. They looking for any mental voice, any mental thoughts that you make. You should have control over everything, because I don't know what it was, but I think I had made him mad. He disapproved of me somehow or something. I don't know. It was like he wasn't soft. Like, it wasn't like you gonna push him around. It's true he ain't have no head, but he was, I ain't calling him feisty also is disrespectful. No, you know what I mean? That's just how it is with that. The motherfuckers belong in their spirit realm and stay over there. In the hell or something. It was just like a hologram. They brought him up. They done brought him up like a little, like I ain't gonna say I summoned him, because I don't remember summoning him. But I remember thinking like, I'm thinking like, what in the world type of being is that? If it was true, right? Like, what in the world type of being is that? Was And then it was like, they go one right here. Oh, in the presence of one, and it was just like a fighter. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just might have just ruined the chance to talk to a blingy. That's all. Regrets, man. Regrets. So, anyways, right? Let's get to it then. That's all today on the chats. So we're gonna move on to the second half. This is proof, right, that the Chinese stole the yin and yang. So here go the Mayan version of the yin and yang. Proof that it existed in America. And there's nobody want to explain it, because it would contradict the narrative. So what you got in the education system in America in the United States is some type of false ceiling, some type of pseudo limit to the genuineness of our education as people. You know what I mean? Like, it's disingenuous, it's lies, it's half-ass truths, and it don't got nothing to do with accuracy, only because people want to maintain dominion. And then that's what it looked like it would happen to the original rulers. And that's what led to a rebellion and a revolt. And now so much time has passed where it's like it's happening again. And the people who went against the original rulers are the ones who's going to lose their spot. Here it is where, you know what I'm saying, they don't lose their place in society because, look, it's like a yin, look, it's like a pendulum. God bless and protect us. Shield up. It's like a pendulum. Left, right. And so when they do this ritual in Freemasonry, they're talking about being at war with the people, right, who have those markings on their clothes, which would be the royals. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at where the royalties stem from, you see the Americas be the one that gave somebody a blessing or the okay, right? You see they rotund with the nose. Giving the hybrid the blessing, right? So they be the priest, they the elders, they the ones that run the show. They the ones that run the show. And they're the ones letting this guy do what he's doing, and this is the guy that got access to them, right? These two, right? This is the guy that found the talent. This is the talent. This is the guy who found the talent. He know how to get to these people, you see? And so see, the red is under the black. And you got the conical skull. And when they talk about, look, this is the map of Mexico. That this is from Mexico. So when you look at the map of Mexico, it's like that's the territory. Is that the Grand Canyon? The whole Grand Canyon was Mexico. So what that means? That means that those pyramids that we see in the Grand Canyon, the remnants that we see in the Grand Canyon are Mayan, Olmec connected structures. And so when they came over here, they had said that they was Moors, right? That it was filled of black people. And so just like those illustrations show you the white people coming to where the black castle at, black people castle, and they running through, right? As we showed earlier. So that's what this city, Matamoros, on the border of Texas and Brownsville, like Brownsville. That's crazy. So Matamoros is a reference to a race war, and the name means to delete black people and the celebration thereof. That's what Matamoros means as a word. So to have a city name that, when we learned all this original Olmec people that existed with all these this history, and then you see it's offensive, right? Because it is saying that that it's okay for them to represent history, but use image symbology to get a point across. So when you zoom in, they go the dots, the spots, the places on there represent royalty, and the fact that it's a crown underneath this turban. You see the crown? So that crown is covered up by the turban, like I said, with the Tasha K looking person earlier. She had a turban on, and it was, I said, the crown was under that. There it is. So this whole concept, you see that? When you hear about knights and kings and all that medieval stuff, look, they got the same markings in their rituals. Look. And so this technique, this tradition is on all the type of kings in the world. Look at that 8-point star he got on his chest. This tradition is on all the type of people in the world. He got a bird on his helmet. This tradition is on all the kings around the world and the representation of kings, right? So I ain't gonna talk about Joe, but when you see it on melanated people, right, it's rare if you're not talking about somebody in Africa. Because this is a king of Congo, or was a king of Congo. They're like some sun worshiping shit right there. All right, so here it is. The Indian Queen. The Indian Queen. The Haitian Emperor. King James. Look, that lotus in the hand means she's queen of the world. So they talking about Queen Khalifa. And she on the other side of the land where Emperor of Haiti was at. On the other side of the waters of where King James was at. But did y'all know that King James created a lodge in Haiti for Freemasons before Prince Hall was created? Yeah, that's a hard history to find out about. Just take my word for it. The Maya ruler being dressed with giant headdress. So look, again, you see the red man. It's supplementary, secondary, or subservient to the darker skinned ruler. And so look what you got on. That's proof that this concept originated in America amongst Aboriginal Americans, and the concept is monarchy and kingdom rulership. So that means that is also proof that America is the source of that. And when you think about all the goods and the products and the things that come from the Americas, it'll make even more sense. It'll make even more sense. And so now we're going to use this crown to match up with these pictures of Black nobility. You see the three-pronged crown right there, like a cross. And so those crosses represent a non-Muslim reality. And so that's proof that the whole concept of running the Moors out is a disguised version of saying they warring with Israelites, Black Israelites. Because Prester John wasn't no Muslim. Those crosses don't have nothing to do with Islam. So it's like, here it is where I'm just saying they call these people Moors, though. That's my point. They called them Moors. Why? Because they was Black, or because they, you know what I'm saying, that they was Islamic. So yeah, I would agree that sword do got a Middle Eastern vibe to it. But Africans is known to make many different type of swords. So I wouldn't say that matters, because Islam could be a warrior or some type of functional sect that was normalized or normal already and didn't have to be normalized as a religion. But it could have been something that the foreigners had by themselves, though. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I know that they ain't never seen no Islamic with the crown with the cross on it. And so these got the crowns with the cross on it. And so that makes it where, all right, you don't never hear about people talking about they Israelites. You only hear them talking about they Muslims. When they Black people, right? They got it where that a Black man that said he was an Israelite, he had to deal with an African, a so-called African, to come say that he was a Muslim. And so it's from Ahmed Abdul Suleiman that you even get the concept that later became Noble Drew Ali, which is the source to whatever ever became of the Nation of Islam. And so those are the only people really that's talking about Islam. And people want to go out all their way to just, take it to a level that they don't need to be taken to, because that's all they know. That's all their parents know. That's the only friends of the family y'all care about. Like, it ain't, like, you know what I mean? Like, people become cultish. Now, listen, if people just fought crime and stood for what was right, they, you know what I mean, everything would be all right. But how you going to do that without Christ? Like without the teaching of Christ, how can you even do that? Because the Hebrews and the Muslims ain't doing it. They at war right now. So shit. Christianity don't even supposed to exist. They ain't even supposed to be any religion or anything about Jesus Christ himself. He said to go spread the word about the Father in heaven. Anything else was a derelict of duty, or it was a error or a non-complete. You know what I mean? And so the apostles fucked that up because this shit became Christianity. And until you made a business out of that shit, like, yeah, you believe in Jesus. Well, really, it's the Father in heaven that should get all the thanks and praise. People crazy. It's like they can't read. See, they can't read. And then it's like they can read. And then that even is a problem because now they want to make it where they understand the Bible in all its Rubik's Cube type level. Look, this is proof, right? Because if they were racist in the back in the days, they wouldn't have made no Africans or no Black Americans or nobody of color for that nature, for that matter. If they was racist, they was like only racist people run the jewelry store. Like that shit wasn't true, man. It only looked like that now. It only looked like that now, and that's what happens when you make guilds out of different races, because they will fuck around and turn into their own thing later and try to, become a problem, and that's what basically all the Gentile nations basically turned into, like some type of issue. You know what I mean? Until where you got it today with the United States and what they did with the post-slavery type experience. Look, crown jewels. That's the same shit Shorty got. So now, not only land and all type of shit stolen, but the crown jewels stolen. All right, that makes sense. I see crosses and birds, just like on African gear, just like on ancient American gear. That's definitely found there. Look at all them jewels and diamonds and things. And so, who made this for them? Like, it's not a real picture, but I'm just saying, they definitely described her as having that. These people is described as having diamonds and jewelries in ancient times, but we don't never hear about it. And she got red lips and blonde hair. And we don't never know about it. What's going on there? Like, what's going on with that? Like the ancient Egyptian and the ancient Micmac. Look at that. The Micmac say it's holy, so that's matter of fact. The ancient Egyptian proved they came secondary. Or maybe this is holy because they got two crosses, though. Like maybe it's good without the extra cross, but if it got two crosses, though, that's holy. That's interesting. I don't know. What ancient Egyptian holy is. They might not have a word for holy. So Micmac, look at the Micmac. So look at her clothes. Look at her sleeves. The inside of her sleeves got that. Look, the bottom of her dress got it. That mean that she wore it the best. That means that it's original with her, it's a second nature with her. It's intricate detail, top of the line. You don't never see nobody else wear no ish like that. So that's technology, the clothes. Yeah. Some whatever the seamstress or the tapestry, like they just like jewelers. Whoever make the clothes, they just like a jeweler. There's jewels in the clothes. That's like how people dress today with the high expensive fashion design and things like that. So swag, style, and everything is ancient too. It was ancient swag and style back in the day. Like where she took the royal mark and she wore it differently. Here go the Hawaiian royal. She wearing it like that. And here go what they said was a European man wearing the same concept. So you see how look how it looked. The people that wear it natural, like look, you could barely had tell that that's what that was, right? And so now you could tell that based on a woman's dress, you would see they rank or they family, or it would be something that's coded there, just like an apron for a Freemason, right? And you could tell by that leather type of top that this is a rare photo because you ain't never seen nobody wear none like that before or after. And so when you see her like that, man, they will hide these people. They'll only show you one picture. She got the fringes. You know what I mean? Like that shirt, man. That's a leather. That look like some Japanese leather top. She got bread. Look, look, Maya. Look at the Mayans. See, you got those spots. More Mayan artwork. See those markings, those dots, those dots. So who's going against those dots? The Red Cross, the Spaniard, which is watered down mixed breed. You know what I'm saying? They watered down mixed breeds or layered over mixed breeds. But a mixed breed history, mulatto versus the black in cahoots with the others' history. Right? The outcasts and shit banded all up. Was getting they women getting pimped, and Freemasonry was still the gang of every town. The gang of every town. That's why you see depicting Americans. You see some skulls, right? That represent America. That represent Queen Khalifa, the Amazon. So look at Meatball with the skull. And Shorty, she got the skulls around her neck in the form of heads. They're talking about the same people, though, for real. They're talking about the same people. Look, there's ancient versions of Freemasonry in America. Well, I say Freemasonry, but it's probably called something else. But yeah, them people is into the dark craft and all that, and they could be Aboriginal. They would be called evil aloes. And they would be perpetuating the shit you see in Tibet. The picture on the left is from America. Then in Tibet, you see they got this thing where they got these crowns. Now we just saw an artifact from America that showed the skulls around the head and showing this face. And that is the same thing that you see in Tibet. Now Tibet not only is far away, but it's difficult to even get there. Not only is it difficult to get there, but the people there, culture is so far removed. They're so far away. They don't have almost no contact with people like that. And so to have this line up where the ancient Americans have this technique that is seen in ancient Tibet, that's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's very peculiar. There it is. That's Peru, India, and Mexico. But this is what I was talking about. You see all them skulls? And then look at the face. It's like a lipless skull face. Look at that. That's Tibet. So this is like a racist cartoon. Well, I assume, right? I assume white people drew this because it's the ceremonies of the Dark Town Lodge. Part first, that shit sound retarded. So they say, look, man, I don't know, man. I assume who would call it dark town is like racist for them days. Like to say dark town was like a black neighborhood. And so they showing Freemasonic truths or whatever and them mocking these people. So in them mocking them, they still showing certain symbolism. But this is the thing, right? And I'm assuming this is racist that made it, but I don't know, right? So look, this concept is an African spiritual practice concept with the one side or the foot or anything dealing with the foot and the steps that are made. And a lot of things that come out of medieval Europe is digested information, right? And so the real key here is that they talking about Americans and they depicted them like this ancient ways that they depicted them as Moors, Buddhas, all type of things. And so they still kept this trait in their depiction of people, and that's tracking them back throughout history or tracking this concept throughout history. So they're saying that these people is Africans, and that's it, right? Hmm. So here goes some real pictures of that group called the Odd Fellows. Now let's just ask the computer for details on that. Computer, what's the difference between the Odd Fellows and Freemasonry in the United States?
Both are 18th century fraternal groups, but Freemasonry, 1717, has a complex, male-only degree system and requires belief in a supreme being, while the Oddfellows, 1819 in the US, use a simpler three-degree structure, welcome men and women of any faith, and focus more on mutual aid and financial support.
All right. So that's who's on the left. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Glad I could help.
So yeah, that information is questionable. You know what I'm saying? It's questionable, the information, because the Boule claim a date as well, but they use a symbol that's ancient. So because something changes name or uses different names, try not to be thrown off by that. What I could see in the symbolism by this guy is slavery. He's a slave master. He's a slave master. That's an aboriginal slave master right there. Look at the phenotype, little chin, little chin, big nose. Look at the hair. Like you can see that in some of the artwork. So I mean, he come from a family, or a rich family of ancient Americans, and I think they kind of just, I don't know, man. It's still. I don't know. I think I'm right about it. That because when you make these connections, like I did the other night with the statues of the Olmecs and the white mask with the statues in Mexico, look, that's a slave whip. So it's literally the same thing as this guy right here, because he got the chains in his hands, so it's a slave whip too. So that that is an American feature. This is tall ears, the white mask is an ancient American feature, which is tying it together that it's like it's a hidden group of people that is probably behind some shit, whereas the regular public just don't know about. Like what's really going what's really going on. And it could be a lot of those type of structures in the world. It could be a lot of those structures in the world. Look, they made him got red lips and black skin, like they always did that. So I think it got something to do with the drugs, with the drug cat. It could have been more prominent than it is today. You can only find it in Polynesia or Melanesia, or what they call it. So the islands of the Pacific. Like, so I'm saying if blackface was just racist, then when they made this, what was they saying? They was talking about black people that was manipulating other black people. But he got the white gloves. He got the Freemason white gloves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't recognize Prince Hall, but they'll talk about him like this is what they doing. That's what I get from that. Right? The Illuminati, the Illuminati, the Boule acting like they come from money and all that, but they acting like they like culture, like an artificial culture. So they dress down, look raggedy, look like they come from the streets, disguised so they could be amongst regular people. So they might see Freemasonry as something to keep other people in control. Who knows? It's definitely been going on. Look, there go the eye right there. The elites, man. I guess the elites, no matter where, they could be doing a better job. Descendants from and descendants from the beginning is the only valid ones, man. Like all the fake elites, probably, they most definitely gonna get what's coming to them. We got it where this definitely should have been shown earlier, man. I'm about to leave. Man. This is taking too long. It is where this was the past. Let's go ahead through it. This was the past. They said black people was doing it to people. All right. They had to go get them. Look, they got the net. Like they're gonna catch them with a net. They're gonna catch the black king with a net. Ain't that crazy? That's like some cartoon shit. They turned rebellion. They rebelled against. Look, they just black people did it all to them, and they rebelled. That's probably why they don't remember no buildings or no aboriginals in the land. Like they keep in secret about that. Keeping secret about that in the whole world. So look, they go to China. Look at China. Look at China. China and they hidden black history was wild because they ain't showing no respect to minorities in the world. They're some cruel people to people. The Chinese, man, that shit crazy. Look, they would like to tell you that they all the same person. But these are pieces of evidence that show status and a style and clothing that seems wholly original and expensive. His sword, look, the case of his sword got pink and gold concepts on it to match his outfit, man. Like that's wild. Well, I don't know if it's to match his outfit, but that shit is a technical outfit. He got a diamond in the middle. That shit is really technology. So, dude in the back, he looking stressed. He gotta be held back by the cool white dude that worked for the black dude. See, you gotta hold back them people that ain't got no they cutting their eyes at him and shit. He still owned the land. He runs shit. So they were like, yo, why does he own the land? Why does he get taxes and own the land, and he don't even be from over here. Look, yeah, telling them what the fuck is going on. You was told, you was put in place to follow, to get these people under, you know what I mean, under control. So there's a disrespect of the order. Look at that. Look at them jewels inlaid along the edges of this suit. That's wild. So this is they probably got this stuff in private collections, man. Like the truth is probably in a private collection. There are probably all type of paintings like this that explain everything. But you know what this is called? A picture of an unknown king. An unknown Moorish king. Yeah, they don't know the name. Of course they wouldn't. So yeah, I think we good. A lot of this stuff is just proof about presence. Look, this is Tibet. That's Tibet right there. Tibet. So that's Asia, America, Europe. Look, that's Haiti on the left. That's Europe. See, Haiti is a pinpoint. Haiti is a point. Look, that's modern day Peru. Modern day Peru, man. They say this was in Germany. Talking about something in America, man. The blonde hair concept, y'all got that? Y'all gonna have to pause it, man, because I'm about to just go through them. So they go China, they go America. This is the sun god, or this is, yeah, sun god of the Inca in the middle. And so you can see they're related to what you see in Mexico and the Olmec. And so it's just over with when it comes to a lot of the mystery, because you could trace it from America to Indonesia to India to Africa. And you can see that the knees in the same place, the arms in the same place. Well, two of them. They holding up a scepter. That shows you the progression of the artwork itself over all the lands. Isn't that interesting? From the true land of the rising sun over to the west. And there you get this Indonesia, India, Africa. So yeah, man, it's over with. I mean, that's Korea, Tibet, one or the other, and China. Talking about these black people with red lips and golden hair. But then when you go into Oceania, where there's places like Melanesia and other Pacific islands with dark-skinned people at, their ancient artifacts just showing the blonde-haired people too, with the blue eyes and the red lips. And so look at that. They got hoop ears just like the Mayans and the Africans. They got this very intricate wood carving techniques that you find in Africa and Southeast Asia as well. But it's just undeniable. You know what I'm saying? So that should be it. Peace and salute to y'all, man. Bye.